Hey everyone, in this tutorial we are going to make a 3-part tacos stencil. This is an image I downloaded from lovesvg.com. I typed in tacos in their search bar. Only a few came up, so it shouldn't be hard for you to find. And the first thing I'm going to do is I need to get the wording out of here and all these little circles. So we're going to go ahead and bring in a shape. So from the bottom left hand corner here, choose shapes and get a circle. You want to, at the bottom left hand corner of your circle, unlock that shape because we want to be able to distort it to cover up all the words within there without touching anything else. Like we don't want to be touching the tomato on the side, or you don't want to go outside of the tan. I can see a tiny bit peeking through there. Make that just a little bit bigger. Alright, we'll try that. So now I'm going to move that to the back. With the right down there in the middle of your screen, if you're working on an iPad, it says Edit. And then you want to go to the right and say Arrange and send that to the back. Now we're going to bring in another shape, H square, and I'm going to edit that square to be a different color since my circle is black. I want actually turned my circle, so one of those shapes just needs to be different so that we can differentiate between the two. And let me unlock a corner of my square so I can turn that into a rectangle. And I'll zoom in a little bit here for you. So you want to cover up all of the bright yellow that you can see shining through without covering up any of the bright yellow that's on the circles or the words, just that bottom part. And I can see in the bottom right corner where the taco shell meets my triangle, bottom right and bottom left, there's just a tiny little bit of black peeking through there. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this rectangle that I have here. I'm going to go to Actions and Duplicate. I'm going to make this one much smaller. And then I'm going to duplicate that so that I have two of them, because I'm going to bring one over each of these corners right there. Bring one on this other corner. Now you're going to want to grab these two squares plus this third square here, all three of the squares, and we're going to, under the Actions panel, we're going to weld those so that they become one piece so that we can cut off the bottom of that circle that's in the back. So grab a hold of your rectangle and then go ahead and grab a hold of your circle, and we're going to slice those. Now we'll move these pieces out of the way, and then you can see that that bright yellow part of the circle that's remaining is within the borders of the tan shell. So I'm going to go ahead and put a box around those and get rid of all those extra pieces. We do not need them. Also, we don't need any of these little parts. Move this out of the way. You'll see these parts that are within the I do it for the tacos. We don't need any of that. I'm going to go ahead and hit the undo button, put that back. So I'm going to scroll down. I do want to keep the actual taco shell, so I'm going to unclick that piece. And then the rest of those, as you can see, are chosen in the Layers panel. I'm going to delete those. Now, I'm going to take the original taco shell shape and this yellow part that fills in all the words and weld those two pieces together. So now you can see this is one piece, all those words are gone. I'm going to draw a box around this, make sure the bottom left corner, make sure that lock is on so that you can't accidentally distort your shape. And group those together as one piece so that now anytime you click on it and back off of it, it still moves as one piece. Alright, so now we have that modified to get those letters covered up. and get that full taco shell. I'm only going to make this a 3-part stencil, so as you can see there are 4 colors here. We're going to go ahead and get rid of one of the colors. I'm going to get rid of the green on the outer edge. Delete that. Now we have our 3 parts remaining. So first thing we'll want to do now is size this appropriately for a background stencil. I'm going to change the width here to we're going to go 0.65. That gives us a little over 1/3 of an inch height, and that should be an ideal height for a background stencil. We're going to make that good. And now we can start duplicating this. Let's see, actions in the bottom and the middle there, go to actions and then duplicate. 2, 3, 4, 5. We duplicated it 5 times, so now we have 6 shells. And then you can, if you want them all straight, you can leave them all straight in a row. If you want to turn them, you just use the top right-hand corner to turn them however you like. Let's see. You can just play with them till however you like the looks of them, or again, if you wanted to leave them all straight, you could do that as well. So I'm going to leave them like that. Now I want to make sure that they stay within the borders of my stencil frame. So I'm going to bring in a shape, a square, and go ahead and edit that into, edit that into I'm going to start at a 5.25 inch, and you'll see why here in a minute. And while I have that up, I'm going to change the color to white as well because it is easier to see for the video here. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So I want those 6 tacos to stay within my 5.25 inches and have a little bit of space on the end, on one end. So I'm going to move those over a little bit. Okay, move the square out of the way. Now, draw a box around all of your tacos. Go down to the bottom under Edit here, a line, which is going to be on the bottom right in your edit screen. Align the bottoms of those so they're all on the same plane at the bottom. Distribute them, and you'll see that this will space them out equally. Distribute horizontally. So I like the looks of that as a row. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to create a weld of all of the yellow pieces, since all of the yellow pieces will be on one stencil. So I'll just go through my layers panel, click on one, and then slide up, click on another. You just do a little bit of a long press to keep selecting multiple. And you can see them highlight in on your canvas there. You see the little highlight go around them also. So those 6 taco shells are all selected. I'm going to choose Actions and weld them together. So now, if you go to the top of your layers panel, all of those taco shells are welded into one piece. We will do the same thing for all of the red pieces, all of the tomatoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you can look over at your canvas and see that each of those 6 tacos has an outline around the tomatoes. We'll weld those together as one piece, and then we'll go back, and I think this is still grouped, so we should be, not grouped. So we'll go through here, grab all of the remaining pieces, which can be lettuce, can be meat, can be cheese, whatever color you want to make it at the end of the day. We're going to weld all those together. So now you have, if I were to move this, 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layers. This is where we're going to get our 3 pieces. I'm going to undo those movements so that they stay together. I'm going to draw a square around those and group them together so that now if I click off and back on, they move as one piece. It'll be very important that your pieces do not move independently of one another at this point. So I'll bring my square back up here and I'll move these off to one side, duplicate that, and I'll move it off to the other side. Duplicate that again, go back to the left, duplicate, drag it back off to the right, duplicate, off to the left, because this is how I would prefer to have it offset a little bit with itself. So let's see. Yeah, I like that position. So that's 2, 4, 5. Let's duplicate this one again, 6. And I think we have room for one more. Yeah, we have room for another one. Duplicate one more and put it over here. I'm going to space it out further. Now, move this square off to the side. So now if you draw a box around all of those rows, click down on Edit in the middle and distribute those vertically. It'll space them out so that they're evenly spaced. And you can see that the bottom row is off just a bit from the other rows that are down to the left, so I'm going to click off of there, move this one over just a bit, and then those lines show up to show you that it's all lined up. So that looks good. Now, so that none of these move from one another, we'll draw a square around there, go down to Actions and group that together. And I'm going to zoom back out so that you can see when I put 3 of them on here for our 3 parts. We'll change the size of our square now. Go down to Edit, and instead of 5.25, now we're going to make it 5.5 because we know that it fits. Draw a box around the whole thing, so now everything in the Layers panel is chosen. Actions. And we're going to group that. Oh, actually, ungroup. We're going to go into Edit first. Align that, we need to center it. There we go. Now go over to Actions and group that. So that now if you click off and back on, it moves as one piece. Again, important that your pieces don't move when you're doing a multi-part stencil. Because all we're going to do here is duplicate this 2 times, and this is our 3 parts. So now we're going to erase pieces from each one. In the first one, let me find which one that is in my Layers panel. There it is. In the first one, we're going to go through and let's pick the first one underneath group. So we've got all this grouping, group, and then welded image. We're going to pick this first one and scroll down, and right underneath the word group, oh, let me grab that one back. Right underneath the word group, you're going to grab all of the welded image word, the first one. And you can see those again highlighting over on the left on the canvas. So I have each row, 2, 4, 6, each of those 7 rows has a piece highlighted there. We're going to delete that. So our lettuce or meat, whatever you choose that to be, just disappeared. We're going to go back through and do that again. We'll just start at the bottom here and we'll do the bottom one. So right above the word group. Right above the word group. And I'm going to grab all of those until I can see on my canvas that each of those rows has been chosen. There's all 7 rows. We're going to delete. And all that's left is that piece. So now this, we're going to draw a box around that and attach that. Those are all of our tomatoes. The next one, we'll go ahead and delete. Here we are in this one. Let's pick the first thing under the word group. So this one, right underneath the word group, and we'll just go through again like we did the first time. Choose each of these underneath the word group. until all 7 of those rows have been highlighted. There we go, those are all highlighted. We're going to delete that. Let's see here. Actually, it looks like, let's undo that delete, because it looks like that was the tomato, or the lettuce I just deleted. So let's click on this again. I have to say this is a little easier on the laptop because I could see the layers better. They're not quite as small. So where's our group? Right here. Okay, let's leave the tacos on this one. So actually, we can tell which ones are the tacos. It's the only one that's big enough to see. There we go. I want to get rid of the square, get rid of that, get rid of that. So we're keeping the highlighted being the yellow piece. And keeping the highlight being that you can see those over there and that are highlighting as we go. And I think one more row. Yes. All right. Let's delete that. So there went our tacos. We're going to draw a line there, or draw a box, and attach. So that's our meat. It could be lettuce, again, cheese, whatever you decide you would like that to be. And now on this last one, we're going to delete everything except the shells. So delete that. And this is number 3. Number 4, row 5. Row 6. And the last row here. We're going to delete all of those pieces. That leaves us with the shells. Draw a box around that and attach that. So now, let me click on layers and move that out of the way. Now you have a layer that is your shell, and then whatever you choose these other 2 layers to be, whatever toppings you like. So that is now ready to go to the Make It Matte for a 3-part stencil. When you send it to the Make It Matte in these colors, it'll put it on 3 different mats. If you want them to all cut at once, all you need to do is draw a square around them, go to the edit, and change the color so that they're all the same. Apply. So now they're all the same color, and when you send this to the Make It Matte, they will all be the same. If you have any questions, feel free to place them in the comments.